The dust reaches your teeth before the enemy does. It rises off the feet of more than 80,000 men and hangs in the hot air with nowhere to go. It is early August in the year 216 BC. On a dry plain in southern Italy beside a slow brown river the Romans call the Ofidus, you are a Roman legionary, and you are standing inside the largest army your republic has ever sent into a single battle. By the time the sun goes down, almost every man you can see will be dead. This is Cannae. Before today, the word means nothing. After today, it will mean catastrophe in the Latin language for the next 700 years. You did not come here alone. Around you stand 8 legions, swollen far past their normal size. A legion being the backbone unit of Rome's army, usually a few thousand men. But this year the Senate has crammed 2 whole consular armies together into one enormous mass. The Greek historian Polybius, who wrote within living memory of this day and spoke with men who survived it, puts your numbers near 86,000. You have never seen so many Romans in one place. It feels less like an army and more like a moving city. Across the plain stands the reason you are here. His name is Hannibal Barca, the Carthaginian general from North Africa who 2 years ago marched an army, wore elephants and all, over the Alps in winter to bring the war onto Italian soil. Twice already, he has destroyed Roman forces. At the river Trebia, and again at Lake Trasimene, where he hid an entire army in the morning fog and killed perhaps 15,000 men in the space of a few hours. Rome's answer this time is simple. Send everything. Bury him under sheer weight of numbers. How do you manage to lose a battle when you outnumber your enemy nearly 2 to 1? You are about to find out, and you will not survive the lesson. Look down the line beside you. The men are arranged the way Rome always fights, in 3 ranks ordered by age and experience. In front stand the hastati, the younger soldiers. Behind them, the principes, men in their prime. At the back wait the triarii, the gray-bearded veterans held in reserve for the worst moment of all. Out ahead, the velis, the lightly armed skirmishers, the poorest boys with little more than javelins and courage. You carry 2 pila, heavy throwing spears built with a soft iron neck so they bend on impact and cannot be hurled back at you. At your hip rests the gladius, the short Roman stabbing sword made for close, crowded, brutal work. Your shield is tall and curved. Your job is not to be clever. Your job is to step forward, throw, stab, and never stop coming. This system has conquered most of the known world. It will not fail today. That is what you have been told. But command of this army rotates. The 2 consuls leading it, Lucius Aemilius Paulos and Gaius Interctarensis Varro, take turns commanding on alternate days, and today belongs to Varro, the more aggressive of the pair. He has done something unusual with all these men. Instead of spreading the infantry wide and thin, he has packed the meniples, the small fighting blocks that make up each legion, into a deep and dense column. He means to drive straight through Hannibal's center like a battering ram and split his smaller army in 2. It is a reasonable plan. It is also exactly what Hannibal is praying you will do. Across the field, the Carthaginian line is not straight. Hannibal has pushed his weakest troops forward, his Gauls and Spaniards, into a shallow curve that bulges out toward you like the back of a bow. His best men, the hardened African veterans, he holds back on the wings, hidden in plain sight. And on his flanks wait his cavalry, his horsemen, more numerous and far better than yours, led by his lieutenant Hasdrubal on one side, and the swift Numidian riders on the other. The Numidians are light horsemen from North Africa, who ride without saddles and never quite let you pin them down. The trumpets sound. You step off. The 2 infantry lines crash together in the center first, and at first, it feels like a victory. Hannibal's Gauls and Spaniards give ground. They bend, they fall back. You and the men around you press into the gap, shouting, certain the enemy is breaking. The bulge that once pointed at you is now caving inward, and Rome's great deep column is pouring into it. You are walking into a bag, and you cannot see the mouth closing behind you. Because the center was never meant to hold, the historian Polybius describes it plainly. The retreat is controlled, deliberate, a door swinging open to let you in. As you push deeper, the African veterans on either side, who have not moved at all, turn inward and clamp down on your flanks. The curve has reversed. The army that bulged toward you now wraps around you on 3 sides, and the 4th side is about to close too. On the wings, Hannibal's cavalry has already shattered the Roman horsemen. Instead of chasing them off the field for glory, Hasdrubal's riders wheel around with brutal discipline, gallop the entire length of the battlefield, and smash into the rear of your packed infantry. The bag is now sealed. 80,000 Romans, jammed shoulder to shoulder, are surrounded. Do you understand what that means for the man in the middle of the press? It means you cannot lift your sword arm. It means the dead cannot fall down. It means the men in the center are so tightly crushed, they suffocate standing up, killed by the bodies of their own comrades before any enemy blade ever reaches them. The Carthaginians on the outside of the ring do not need to win a fight. They simply work inward, hacking down the exhausted men at the edges. Then the next rank, then the next, hour after hour under the August sun. Livy, the Roman historian writing a century and a half later, describes men half buried in the earth begging the enemy to finish them. This is no longer a battle. It is a killing that has run out of room. The numbers of the dead are still argued over by historians today, and you should know that honestly. Polybius, the earlier and usually more careful source, says around 70,000 Romans were killed. Livy gives a lower figure, closer to 48,000 killed with perhaps 19,000 taken prisoner. The modern historian Adrian Goldsworthy, who has written extensively on the wars between Rome and Carthage, treats the true death toll as somewhere in that terrible range. Either way, it stands among the bloodiest single days of close combat in all of recorded human history, and almost all of it was done by hand. Among the dead is the consul Aemilius Paulus, who refused to flee and died in the press. So did dozens of Rome's senators and former magistrates. The political heart of the Republic cut down in the dirt beside the ordinary soldiers. Varro, the consul who chose the plan, was one of the few who escaped. That night, by firelight, Hannibal's cavalry commander Maharbal urged him to march at once on Rome itself. When Hannibal hesitated, Maharbal is said to have answered with a line Livy preserved, that Hannibal knew how to win a victory, but not how to use one. Hannibal did not march, and that pause, that single decision, may have saved the city. Because here is the part that should stop you cold. Rome did not surrender. A defeat this total should have ended the war. Any reasonable state would have sued for peace. Instead, the Senate refused even to ransom the thousands of prisoners. They banned public mourning so the city would not drown in grief. They armed slaves. They learned, slowly and bitterly, to stop offering Hannibal the open battles he kept winning, shadowing him instead, denying him the knockout blow. 14 years later, a Roman army under Scipio finally defeated Hannibal on his own soil at Zama, and Carthage lost the war. So the men who died around you in that closing ring did not die for nothing exactly, but they did not live to know it. For 2,000 years after, Cannae became the dream that haunts every general. The perfect battle, the smaller army that destroys the larger one by letting it win the center and then swallowing it whole. Commanders studied it, copied it, chased it across the centuries, often into disasters of their own. The plain by the Alphadeus turned into a textbook. But you were never a lesson. You were a man who marched here in the heat with dust in your teeth, certain of victory, packed so tight among your countrymen that you could not raise your own sword. You were one of the tens of thousands who became a single number in a sentence written long after you were gone. The dust that reached your teeth this morning settles now over a field of the dead, and Rome will spend the next 700 years learning never to forget your name.